If you're not putting your content out that way, if you're not reaching them, talking about your business, you're missing out.
Well, welcome back to the studios here at Local Stream Media. I'm Kyle and this is Todd, and we run this awesome, cool local media company, Local Stream Media. And we want to talk to you today about podcasting and why we think that is such a good format for businesses, organizations, politicians, really a broad spectrum of people.
I would even take it a little bit farther than that, Kyle. Not just a good format, but I believe it is the format. I think that everyone, if you want to be reaching people in a current and modern way, it is done through long form and short form video. That is just how things are currently right now. We've had a shift. We live in an on-demand society. This is no longer about everyone getting together and watching something at the same time anymore. We watch things as we have time. We listen to things as we are driving back and forth to work or taking the kids to soccer practice or whatever gets you into the car. Audio in the car, video when you have time to be able to watch it. And you know as well as I do, you see how many people sitting on their phone and their thumb doing this. It's because they are scrolling through short form videos. That's where you can reach people today.
Yeah, and we looked up a stat today. It says over half of Americans over the age of 12 listen to podcasts. That's huge.
That's a very large number. And if your audience skews a little bit younger, meaning that the types of clients that you are looking for are under the age of 40, that number is higher as far as percentage goes.
Yeah.
Because that age demographic is no longer listening and watching traditional media the way that my age did back when we were young. That was new to us. This form is new to them, and that is how they are consuming information. If you're not putting your content out that way, if you're not reaching them with your talking about your business, you're missing out because they are not in the traditional ways. I see it's the older generation still buying newspaper ads, still buying radio advertising because they still remember that nostalgia behind it. It's gone. That is over with. It has been replaced now with creators doing things online. And there's some great stuff that I see out there, and that list is continuing to grow. It's early. We have not yet begun to see what this particular platform is going to achieve. Getting on board with this now is the perfect time.
Yeah, and Hulu and Netflix just launched podcasts on those platforms. So it literally is main stage TV now. It is on its way to replacing all sorts of shows. If you remember, like watching series shows like in the 90s and 2000s, oftentimes you'd have like a show that premieres every week, and then there'd be like an after party show.
Right.
Well, now that's happening on Netflix in a podcast format. And so many TV shows have had spin-off podcasts just talking about just the TV show specifically. So there's a lot of different niches that podcasting can cover. But I think one of the things we keep preaching here is that podcasting is great because, one, it gets you on a ton of apps that just doing traditional social media management does not do. It gets you more searchability. And it allows you to be in all those spots where people can find you from making one long form video. Then you can cut it up, put it on social media, and get it on the other apps and then all of that traffic drives back to your main podcast. And then, eventually people will find your podcast and they listen to it in the car on their way to work when they can't or shouldn't be scrolling videos. I see people scrolling TikTok while they're driving.
Yeah.
Don't advise that. Don't advise that.
It's also illegal. So no, don't.
It's definitely illegal in this state. Maybe not Nebraska as much.
It is in Iowa. I know for a fact it is in Iowa because I spoke with a state trooper about it.
So, and then the nice thing about that is that can get you on YouTube and these other platforms that really help with searchability in ways that like Facebook and TikTok and Instagram do not get you searchability. some of the AIs do scroll those sites, but they definitely prefer YouTube over that because it's just the way it's been set up. Google's been king for a long time, and they still are. They're not going anywhere. So doing a podcast and repurposing your content allows you to give Google what it wants and then fulfill your social media in other ways. So like this episode right here, we're going to be clipping this up. You might be watching a 1 minute clip out of this podcast, and then you might go watch the longer one on YouTube. If you don't, that's fine too. We want to give you little nuggets of great information anyway. But the whole point to doing the podcast versus creating, shorts from scratch or just copying trends, which by the way, I mean, they can get a lot of likes and sometimes they're cool, but they don't really tell your customer anything about you. It's just you're just copying somebody else's original content or idea. But when you do a podcast like this is original content. This is not regurgitated content. We're not here copying what some other person did. We're literally telling you about what we do and how we can help you fix problems and telling you our strategy about how we do that. And so, again, podcasting, I think it's one of the best ways to do social media because you can, again, get that long form content in those places where you need it and then cut that down to short form and put it out from there.
You mentioned so many great things inside of that, Kyle, and I don't think it's as much of a news today as it used to be that YouTube is the number 2 search engine behind Google. If you do a search in Google, what do you see right at there at the top? You see the paid advertising, and then you see YouTube clips and YouTube videos right there at the top of a Google search. So if someone is searching for what it is that you do, that's how you get up towards the top, is by consistently putting out that content. And how do you do that? By setting up to record one long form video. And even if you're only doing it once a month, you can then get social media content for the rest of the month out of that in a much more natural and conversational way, kind of like we are doing here right now. We're not working off of a script. We're just talking about what it is that we know. And that in short form can be more compelling because it doesn't sound like a scripted ad, because those, again, don't work the way that they used to.
Yeah. And then the other cool thing about, well, I mentioned too with you with the AI summary and search on Google. I mean, the old Google search is kind of dead. A lot of people aren't using it anymore. So now there's a new AI search. But it still kind of works like the old search. And there is a video thumbnail that usually pops up there onto the right side top of the screen. And I did some searching maybe 3 months ago just to see what pops up there when I search like common terms like plumber near me or, these things. And I was surprised. There's not really a lot of businesses in Omaha that have properly keyworded YouTube videos because it would always go to how to solve this problem from a company in Virginia or somewhere else. And so I think pretty much 95% of marketing companies and other areas are totally missing that opportunity and that mark. And they're just not worried about it because they're out there trying to, reinvent the wheel every week with new trends and staying on top of things like that. And I'm not going to say that those don't work and don't get attention, but I don't think it has the best ROI for businesses. Not like podcasting would. And I know that's kind of a driving a stake into, a hard rock. But I'm going to be firm on that. So, because that's what we do here. We don't do that kind of media. We make different kind of media, and we make original content, and we do it in this conversational format. And the other reason I really like this format is because you cannot do it alone. There's somebody else sitting here too. So when you bring in people to be on a podcast to make content for your marketing, this could be a testimonial. You could be a client of mine, and we could be talking about problems that we solved. You could be, if you're a hair salon, you could be one of the stylists that work in the shop and tell me about your story. You could be somebody who's starting a nonprofit, and maybe my business works with nonprofits. There's a lot of different combinations you can do, and it also opens you up to the other person's network because not only are you on screen and sharing, but you're bringing somebody else into the equation, and they're definitely going to share that out after the fact. And so a whole new pool of people is going to see you every time you have a new guest on. It's really really collaborative because you can do solo podcasts, but most of the time they include other people. So it's collaborative. You have to bring somebody in and have another guest, and you're getting two pools of audiences, not just one.
Yeah, and you're having one of the best networking opportunities available when you can bring someone in to be a guest on your podcast, and you have uh, different industries that you want to be able to uh, share business with. You like industries, but they're not identical. They're not really competing with each other. Now you have an opportunity to sit and have a targeted conversation with that person. And that in itself, it's kind of just an extra added value to doing one of these podcasts because you've had such a great networking opportunity with that. I spoke with someone recently, and I wanted to mention, I'm not going to tell you who or even what industry, but we were talking about doing a podcast. And they definitely saw the value. They saw the value of everything it was that came along with it. But their deciding factor was, oh, we have someone that's going to just let us use their studio. So we've got access to a free studio, and we're just going to do it there. Okay, great. But if you haven't hired somebody that understands everything else that's attached to that, then you have bought a car that's sitting on blocks in the front yard.
Yeah.
This is not.
I hear this all the time. Yeah. Oh, I have a camera. I can do it. And that's true. You can do it, but then you always run into roadblocks, or you don't do it, or you recorded something and then it just never gets edited. I mean, I've been done video production for almost 10 years now, and I can't tell you how many videos I produced that just never get used because the end user just never posts it or doesn't do anything with it. And that's sad. And that's why I started my agency, because I was tired of producing things for other people, and then I felt like it wasn't getting used right and people weren't getting their max ROI out of it. We'd make these commercials or these things, and then they'd just post it on their website and be like, "Oh, that is definitely not the intended use." But you're working for a different agency or your different partner, and they just, maybe they dropped the ball on something, or they just didn't have that plan in place, or maybe they just didn't explain it to the client very well. And then, of course, a few times that happens, you hear back, well, the video didn't work. And that's true. The video didn't work because it wasn't properly used.
Yep.
And so that is why when you come and work with us and do a podcast, most of our packages are structured to where we shoot, edit, and post it for you. Like, it's the done and done solution. And we really advise everyone to do it that way. Otherwise, things just don't end up happening, or it causes you more stress, and then you get too busy and you quit doing it, and then you didn't keep growing episode after episode, post after post. So we help people not just get a podcast going, but actually sustain and deliver it in an appropriate way, and then making sure it gets on all those apps too. It's a lot of work to set it up once, but we take care of that for you. And then after we go there, all you have to do is come in, sit down, somebody here pushes record for you, and that's it.
I think oftentimes smaller businesses think, oh, that's for the large corporations. That's for the ones that have the $1 million advertising budgets and all of this. Let me tell you what can happen when you put out a podcast and then short form video for your small business, and especially in smaller communities. Personal relationships are more important in a small community than in a large community. I'm not saying they don't exist at all in a city the size of Omaha, but it means more when you go to a small community. And when someone sees a video short on their phone, they say, wait a minute, I recognize that. I know right where that is. And, oh, I recognize that person. And now you've just created another reason for someone to walk into your shop and see you. And they're looking forward to telling you, hey, I saw you on that video. This is a great way to be able to further those personal relationships and continue to build that cooperation between you and your clients. And it is even more effective, in my opinion, in a smaller market than in a large one.
Oh, absolutely. And, I've been telling people this with YouTube as well. It's not necessarily about getting 1 million listens, right?
Mhm.
A small pool of people that are loyal can sustain your business, your organization, your nonprofit. And this is just one of the best avenues to reach people on a regular basis, that you can inform them, like beyond just making short social media posts or trendy media. You can sit here and talk about your upcoming events. You can talk about, personal stories or transformations that have happened in your business or organization. You could put so many different formats in this because you're not limited to, oh, reels just need to be like 30 seconds because people won't pay attention for longer than that. This format is about hitting people who are in the right mindset to actually consume information and remember it.
And that's using that algorithm to what it's designed to do.
Yeah.
Because let's say that a restaurant is going to have a Jeep night. They've decided they want to have all the Jeepers are going to come and they're going to be kind of a rally there in their restaurant. Well, how are you going to reach those people? You put out a video short with that, and that algorithm is going to show it to people who own Jeeps. That's just how it works. Your phone knows. And take advantage of what is out there and what is available to you, and get into that realm of, this is how we can reach people in a very effective way on a timeline that fits their schedule. Because once you create that video, it's not as if they have to see it right as you post it. It's not as if it only just shows up once on your feed if you're putting it on Facebook or Instagram. It will continue to come back. I see things on my feed that I've seen before. It repeats.
Oh, yeah, totally.
It does that all the time because the algorithm is now sensing that I have a need to see this again. So it shows it to me. And most of the time when that happens, I do have an interest in it.
Yeah, that's a great point. Well, so if you're interested in any of this, do give us a call.
Yeah.
We would like to work with you and get you on this strategy and this plan and make something for your business that you're proud of, and then something that also works for you, and starts a long-lasting library of content you can pull from. Not just, you have to shoot something every month just to, keep your social media going. This can be a really easy solution to feel more relaxed, take care of more apps, more social media apps, and just once a month, and you can produce videos to post every week and take care of all the long form apps all in one go.
Yeah, what we have been talking about, we're talking about it in a very generic sense. But what you and I do is we dive deep into what specifically fits for you and your business. And that's going to be unique to you. Every one of these things that we put together is tailor fit for the client as they need it and what it is that they want to accomplish with their business. So the only way we can do that is to sit down and have the conversation and find out how this fits. We put together a package for you. After we present it to you, if you see that it makes sense for what it is that you want to do and achieve, then we move forward and we get the ball rolling just as quickly as we can.
Awesome. Cool. Well, get your podcast started today.
There you go. That's what we got. All right. See you soon.
See you later.